To all of my regular viewers, welcome back. And to my new viewers, thank you for tuning in, and I hope you continue to do so with this series. As we all know, it's Black History Month, and any chance that I get, not just Black History Month, I like to exhibit my pride of being an African American. So last week, you saw what I had on in my video, for those who watched last week's video. And on top of that, I wore a mask to work that I just created that said, I am Black History on one side, and the outline or the silhouette of a woman with an afro in purple kente pattern. And I guess upon seeing that, one of my coworkers decided to challenge me with some Black history trivia. And I got the question right, not only because it was kind of a local question or related to a local question. There's a theater across the water from where I live, named after the person he was asking me about, the Addicts Theater. And on top of that, I went to Howard University, people. And I took the two classes that I took surrounding African American history. It was a wonderful experience. Those two teachers, I love them. Shout out to Miss LaForia, great woman, great woman. I just enjoyed her class, and I forget the other teacher's name, but I do remember it was on a Saturday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. But it was so worth getting up. It was so worth missing homecoming, so worth missing the parade that year, because I thoroughly enjoyed those classes. But even before I made it to Howard, I had the privilege of growing up in the household with a Black Studies major. Thanks, Mom, for allowing me to attend class with you on some occasions. Thank you for continuing to, and then on top of that, continuing to bring your knowledge home that you were learning, and just having your books around. I guess being the, I won't say inquisitive, but a person who likes to know things. And because growing up, my mother had us dressed in African American attire, or African American garb and attire. She would make our outfits. So that pride of being an African American was instilled in me as a young person. And I just know my stuff. Then on top of that, I took that zeal that was instilled in me by my mother, and from my church, Riverview Missionary Baptist Church. There was a program, the reading program. They were very heavy on teaching us African American history as well, beyond what we were learning in school, the Martin Luther Kings, the Rosa Parks, etc. They went beyond those surface people, those surface heroes. And I am forever grateful in that. But as I got older, I indulged in it more on my own. One of my favorite authors is Beverly Jenkins, and I just love her historical romances. Are African Americans right out of slavery, or born into being a free person in the beginning of Reconstruction or the industrial area, having their own country, having their own cities, having their own territories, having their own businesses, beyond the obstacles they were still facing as newly freed slaves, or as people of color that still had to fight for their place in the world amongst their counterparts. So with all of that, I have, like I said, a very strong pride of being an African American young woman. Also this week, I want to talk about tax season. It's upon us. People are getting their W-2s in the mail. I've received mine, all but one. And when I look at them and tally up all the money that I brought in from the jobs that I had last year, I'm like, how did I make it through? How was I able to pay all my bills on time, still have extra money left over to do what I wanted to do, and use some of that money to start up Daylight Candles? And the answer to that is Jehovah Jireh, Jesus my provider. Yes, he truly is, because that is the only reason that I can think that I was able to make it the way I was last year. I know last year was an interesting time for all of us, for a lot of us financially, as it was for me. And but I have, from the beginning of January to the end of October, I didn't miss a beat in my finances and what I was obligated to do. But since being down with COVID, it has been challenging financially. Just those 2 little weeks that I was down and wasn't able to work, I'm still trying to catch up 4 months later. But God is still providing and pushing me out of my comfort zone a little bit with having to ask for financial assistance and help from those around me, and just those around me that I just talked to, them offering and wanting to be a blessing. So yes, even though I'm struggling financially, He is still being a provider through people who He has placed in my life. And lastly, this weekend is the celebration of love. Valentine's Day is this upcoming Sunday. And I just want to give a shout out to some of the couples that have kept me encouraged and kept me in admiration and of true beauty, God, and godly love. Pastor Granger and Pastor Joanne Browning, thank you for your level of affection for one another, your display of affection and encouragement of one another. It's been such a beautiful thing to see over the years. Pastor Schuyler and Minister Schuyler, I thank you too for showing your love for one another, displaying it for one another. It's been a blessing to know your story from where you were so many years ago, then going your separate ways and then coming back. Such a beautiful thing to hear and a beautiful thing to have witnessed and to have been a part of your lives. I love you guys so much, I really, really do. And to more recently, Pastor Dwight Riddick and Janelle Riddick, Dr. Janelle Riddick, to see you in your element of pastoring together, of loving together, of working in ministry together. It's a beautiful thing to see on a weekly basis. Happy belated anniversary. Again, I just thank you all for being unashamedly in love and showing that love to those around you, because it is very encouraging I'll just speak for myself. To me, as a young person, as a young Christian woman, it's very encouraging that true godly Black, beautiful love is out there. And it is possible, and it can be long lasting. So that is all oh, nope, one more thing. I almost forgot. So for those that may feel slighted or may feel unloved or may not feel up to par because of the celebration of this weekend, I have something to remind you that you are not alone, you are not unloved. There is someone that loves you more than your mother, more than your father, more than your sibling, more than anybody in your family, probably even more, no, not probably, and more than yourself. God loves you more than you could ever know. Beyond the hard times, it may not feel like he loves you because of the hard times, but he does, and he's going to use whatever hard time that you are going through to his glory and honor, and then you'll see in the end how it all worked out. Romans 8:28. But the word also states that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever shall believeth in him shall not perish but have long life. John 3:16. And that is the basis of my new product. It's a joint collaboration between Daylight Candles and Daylight Custom Designs. It's called the John 3:16 bundle, and you get a 16-ounce candle, a tumbler with a straw, and a traveler's mug, all valued at a value, if you bought them separately, at $60. You get it for $50. And for those young ladies, or just men too, who want a scarf or a lap scarf or handkerchief, I also have a handkerchief and or lap scarf with the same design. And for extra $5 if you want to get the scarf, the handkerchief as well. So yeah, that's all I have. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the rest of your week. Be the daylight in someone else's life, and enjoy the daylight in yours. Happy birthday, Michael B. Jordan.